So this week was pretty full on, which can only mean that I've got a fair bit to chat about with you today. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. You're with Chris, and today I'll be wrapping up yet another week as the end of January is almost here. It was a pretty full-on week. A lot went on, and I've got a fair bit to go through, so why don't we start with what I posted this week, and we'll start with my first epic book haul of 2024. I spent a fair bit and had a decent haul to share with everyone this week, and if you haven't caught that video, please check it out. I don't know about you, but I love filming book haul content, and I love watching book haul content because it does influence your buying. When you watch what other booktubers have bought, it's very, very easy to put those particular titles into your Amazon wish list, and away you go. And for a rainy day, when you get that itchy click finger when you're browsing Amazon, it's a bit of a trap, but it is all good. So that video got 200 views already, which I'm pretty happy with, actually. But if you haven't checked it out, please do. But in addition to that book haul video, it didn't stop there. I actually went on and ordered more stuff, but there's a few more titles coming in, but I won't do a small book haul for that one. But what I will do is share with you what I've actually ordered, starting with The Warlord Chronicles by Bernard Cornwell, where this is the retelling of the Arthurian legend. Now, I've procrastinated about buying this for a long time. I've known about this series for a very long time, and when the first book got reduced in price, I thought the time was right to just go for it and order the whole trilogy in, which I have, and happy to say that the delivery will hopefully be made next week, right before the end of the month, which is going to be fantastic. The next book I ordered in was Death Star, which is going to be my next Star Wars book for my reading project, Reading the Star Wars Expanded Universe, which will be continuing this year. I read 3 Star Wars books last year, and I plan on reading a lot more in 2024. This book intrigues me. I've always wanted to know a bit more about the Death Star, much like the Millennium Falcon book that I read. I wanted to find out more about the Falcon's history, so I find this kind of book very, very interesting and intriguing, and I can't wait to dive in, and I'm anticipating doing that book in, or reading that book in Feb. The next 2 books I ordered are from indie authors. Now, this is something I need to do a bit more on the channel and start championing the cause of indie authors, because they're very underrated. The work they put in to get these books to see the light of day is incredible, and I've come across a few authors on Twitter recently with some of the community groups that I'm involved in, and I just had to get these books in because they sounded very, very interesting. The first one is called Smoker on the Porch by Dom Watson. This is set in 1989 with kids coming up against a demonic personality. There's not much to know about the plot at the moment because the cover blurb is fairly brief, but that's a good thing because it certainly piques your interest. But from what I read about the book and the cover blurb, it looks like it's got a really good Stranger Things vibe, which, if that's the case, I'm all in. And I thought it looks really good, it's reasonably priced, and I thought I'm going to give it a go. And with these particular indie authors, once I read the book, I'm going to reach out to them on Twitter and see if they want to come on the channel for a chat, because it's the least I can do, because I haven't been doing much in the way of promoting indie authors, and I think it's very important, and it's something that I wouldn't mind doing a bit more of on the channel. The next book as well was The Elements of Time, number 1, The Winds of Change by Sam Paisley, which looks like a really good fantasy series where a couple of are they university students or secondary students, I'm not quite sure, but they become aware of different timelines and things like that, and they're tasked with some big purpose. I'm not quite sure, but it sounded very interesting. The cover art alone was fantastic, and I thought I'm going to order that one as well. And Sam Paisley is also on Twitter, and I'll also reach out to him when I'm done with the book and have him on the channel as well, because I think it is a good thing to support indie authors, because it can't be easy for them. with the amount of work that goes into a book and bringing them to production like this. And the cover art is absolutely sensational, which is a critical ingredient for influencing your buying. So looking forward to diving into those, and I'll probably do those in the first half of the year. I also ordered The Magicians by Lev Grossman, which sounds interesting to me. It's a magic school kind of scenario there. I watched the first episode of the adaptation on Prime, I think it was Amazon Prime, and it looked really, really good. So I thought I might as well get the first book in the trilogy, and if I like it, I'll buy the other 2 books. Now, another one that popped up on my radar just this week, actually, which I had no idea about, is called Bomb Maker, which looks to me like a very, very good spy thriller. Now, with any new book or new author I come across, I always do my research, and having a look on Goodreads, I was really pleasantly surprised to learn that this book had a lot of 5-star reviews, which can only mean that the book was good. All the comments that I read were very, very favourable, and everyone seemed to enjoy the book who have read it. And so I thought, look, I'm going to buy it because, as you know, by watching the channel for a little while now, you know I love me a good thriller, and this one sounds great, and of course I'll review that on the channel. The next book I ordered was Son of the Poison Rose, which is book 2 in the Kagan trilogy. I did recently buy the first book, Kagan the Damned, in my last book haul video, which you can watch. And the cover art's just really pretty, and I know that shouldn't be the sole purpose of buying a book, but I thought Kagan the Dam looked really good. I think I'm going to enjoy it, so I thought, why not get the second book and get up to date before the third book is released in, I think it's May. The next book is released, don't quote me on that, but I wouldn't mind getting stuck into this and the second book before the third one comes out. Now, with Kagan the Damned, the first book, I am going to be doing a buddy read with Scott over at the Bookish Bryants. Looking forward to getting stuck into that one, hopefully sooner rather than later, because I am pretty keen to jump into that one. And looking forward to doing a buddy read on it so that Scott and I can compare notes and do a live stream and talk about the book, which will be awesome. And yeah, so that is it for my orders. All these orders will come in by the end of January, so I always look forward to getting books in the post. Alright, now what else happened this week? I did upload parts 4 and 5 of my epic reading vlog for The Way of Kings. So happy that I finished it, so happy that I enjoyed it as much as I did, enough so to do the reading vlog in 5 separate parts, which I think is a great way of doing a reading vlog rather than waiting until I film several videos and release one vlog video. I find the format of just releasing them as I finish a part is definitely the way to go, because it breaks it up really nicely. You can talk in detail about a specific part of the book rather than scrambling to put a show together for the for one video review of the whole book. I thought a book this size at 1200 pages is a good idea to just break it up and do separate videos, which appeared to work quite well. And the characters, I should do a separate video on why you should read The Way of Kings, but didn't want to give any spoilers away in this reading vlog. I just had an absolute blast with it, and I can't wait to read more books in the Cosmere series. I did mention in the final video that I was wanting to jump into The Way of Kings as a way of getting my hands dirty and really testing the temperature of the water of the Cosmere, and I thought to myself, if I really like The Way of Kings, I should like everything else in the Cosmere. So we'll see how that goes. Now, after reading The Way of Kings, it was pretty mentally draining, but in a good way. But I thought, after closing the book for the last time, I thought, well, I need a couple of palate cleansers before I get back into the Cosmere. And so I read 3 books to clear that old palate. And the first one I read was just this week was The Night House by Joe Nesbo, which was a spooky house kind of set up there. But it was an absolute trip of a book. It messed with my head in a major way. I liked the book, and I reviewed it, and that review should be coming up on the channel on Tuesday. So watch out for that one. I also read another one called Never Lie by Freida McFadden. previously I had read The Housemaid and The Housemaid's Secret, and after reading those two books I just had to look at her backlist to see what else she had, and I decided to read this one, which was absolutely fantastic. Freida McFadden is officially 3 for 3 for me right now. I really like her writing style. It's very accessible. She doesn't waste words. She has killer twists in this book, and this one's about a psychiatrist, how she disappears and the mystery behind that, and who is the culprit behind her disappearance. And this one was just fantastic. You might think you know what happens, but she keeps you guessing all through the book. And I'm not sure when I'm going to get a review up for that one, but hopefully before too long. But it was a great read. And finally, my last palate cleanser was Deathnote Volume 5, which this is the 2-volume binder, and I smashed it through in one sitting, which was the perfect palate cleanser for me before going into, for the first time, the next logical choice after reading The Way of Kings, so that I can read the Cosmere books in a standard logical order, and that is The Final Empire that I started just last night. I've read the prologue and I'm captivated already. This Kelsier, this character, is fascinating and seems like a bit of an ass kicker as well. And I'm only 30 pages or so in the book, but I think I'm going to enjoy this because now I have a taste of what Brandon Sanderson's writing is like. So going in that he's going to have your best interests at heart. He's going to look after you. He's going to answer your questions. And the best part about this too is this particular edition, I like the nice big print because of my eyesight, so it's going to be fairly easy to read, and I anticipate finishing that in about a week or so. And depending on how I feel about the book, if I like it how I think I'm going to dive straight into book 2, because I would like to ideally read the trilogy back to back if I could, so that I can get onto more books and get myself up to date, so that I can find myself in the position of being able to start Words of Radiance, which I'm keen to get back to those characters. You've got no idea how much I want to crack open that bad boy at the moment, but I know that in order to enjoy it to the full, I do have to do a little bit of reading other books in the Cosmere before I get to that one, so that I have a really solid grounding on what is happening in the Cosmere that moves on to that book. So we'll see how that goes, but that will be most of my week taking up with reading The Final Empire. So looking forward to reading a bit more of it today, and hopefully should smash through it pretty quickly. So I mean, it's half the size of The Way of Kings, so if I read The Way of Kings in 2 weeks at a pretty fair click, then I should be able to mop this one up by next weekend and get a review out for it. So exciting times for the reading, guys. Also this week I approached an organisation called Better Reading, who have a very strong Facebook presence and do video reviews of forthcoming books, and they promote reading, which is a fantastic initiative. Now, I had the pleasure of working with Better Reading about 11 or 12 years ago when I was in the book trade managing a bookstore, where we worked together on some author events, which was fantastic. And this week I thought I'd reach out to them because I like promoting new books, and they kindly agreed to have me in their preview program, where they give away books to reviewers. And what the reviewers do is they post reviews or record their reviews on their YouTube channels, and give a plug to Better Reading as part of that video process, which I'm more than happy to do, because it means getting on the front foot, building some excitement about forthcoming releases, which is great, and just acknowledging them in the videos I do. So it'll be a specialised content where the review will be at the introduction. I'll be giving them a bit of a plug, and at the end as well. And I do believe they have some form of a script to do that, so I'll be looking forward to receiving some books they're sending me next week, and I'm going to make the time to do that, because I love building some excitement about forthcoming books, and it should be a good little side project for me, which is awesome. Now, lastly, what did I watch this week? I watched a movie from 1986. A lot of ex-geners will have fond memories of this one, and that is The Wraith. starring Charlie Sheen and Nick Cassavetes. Now, it's a little bit dated, but very, very watchable, and I watch it every 3 or 4 years or so, and I still think it stacks up quite well for how old it is. I think the premise is great with, a teen that gets murdered, comes back with a limited time frame to exact revenge on those individuals that killed him in the form of a prototype supercar. How could you go wrong with that? It is, it was, when you watch the movie for the first time, you have no idea that it was made by Dodge. And what they did was they got a dune buggy and they created a casing for the supercar that fitted on the top of it, so you'd have no idea that it wasn't a real car. But I do believe they did have a prototype that was used for certain scenes, but for a lot of the scenes they used this outer skin over the top of the dune buggy, which was pretty cool. A bit of trivia too: the villain in the movie called Packard, he was played by Nick Cassavetes, and it wasn't until a few years ago that it blew my mind that I realised that he was the same actor that played Dietrich in Face Off from 1996. He just has a full head of hair in this one. And, he plays a bit of a cheesy villain. He has some cringe-worthy lines, but, the whole movie is pretty watchable for being made all the way back in 1986, and it remains a classic to this day. But I had a great time. It's a good nostalgia trip back down memory lane from my childhood, and the car was just so cool. And he does get his revenge on those murderers. So yeah, excellent. So that is it, guys. That is it for my weekly wrap up. There was a fair bit to get through, so thank you for bearing with me through that, and thank you very much for watching. And please like and subscribe, and I'll promise to deliver the best content I can. As always, please offer up any feedback or comments below. And yeah, until the next video, guys, happy reading.